every time, dude.
I know. It's a tip at nibbling.
Always taco. What the fuck?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Moretako encounter. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. We're ready to roll out here. I myself am super pumped because one of my most nostalgic memories from being a child is rocking the X-Men cartoons. And I still, as a 41-year-old grown man, hear that theme song come on. And I get little chills in my spine. And if you guys did not know, the X-Men 97 trailer dropped the other day. They are bringing back that X-Men cartoon. And actually, one of the first things that comes to my mind, it was just a phenomenal show. Back when we were kids, cartoons just crushed it. They just crushed it. But one of the things that pops to my mind is a childhood crush I had. Yes, I was crushing on cartoons, cartoon characters. I don't want to speak for everybody, but when you're a young man, you're kind of like jiving. You watch cartoons most of the time, or you watch Power Rangers, or you watch whatever. And you're like, man, I have feelings for this individual. I don't know where they're coming from.
The stroke of the pen.
Ooh. It is
pun
intended.
intended.
Something.
Yes.
And one of my biggest, and there are two from this X-Men cartoon, but one was the primary, and it was Rogue, the X-Men character. Smoking cartoon hotness. Were you guys ever vibing for a cartoon chick? Or when you're a kid, you're 8 years old, you're like, Mom, can you buy me this action figure? Well, I thought you'd want Wolverine, but Rogue's okay, I guess. And you're like, yeah, it is, Mom. It's okay.
It is okay.
It's okay. How about you guys? Do you guys have any crush on like cartoon characters or anything like that when you're a kid?
You want me to go first?
I'll let you go first.
Damn it. I hate to be like a basic bitch about it, but so I was like a big movie kid when I was a kid, obviously. My parents divorced when I was super young, so my mom, being a single mom, always had to work, and things were different back in the day, right, where we were able to stay at home by ourselves and whatever. But I always clung to movies, and one that sticks out to me is Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Ooh. I can't top that.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you top that?
Yeah, and it's obviously I'm not talking about Roger.
I like Mason Roger. Not that much, but
yeah, we're talking about Jessica Rabbit. Nice.
Wabbit.
Yeah.
Wabbit.
I don't know if I think she was more of a crush when she was Jessica Rabbit or when she turns into that psycho Jessica Rabbit towards the end. Like most women, maybe. I don't know.
No.
I'm just
We
kidding.
apologize to
I
all
am
our
leaving
female
right
viewers.
now.
I'm just
I am
kidding. Only
but
7 days a month.
You are on your own.
No.
But yeah, that would
getting
be
that conversation.
That would be my cartoon crush. Would be definitely Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, I like it. That's a good selection.
Yeah,
That's a solid
she had it all,
selection.
dude.
That's one of those movies I'm surprised they haven't made a sequel to, because like that's something that those movies are digging into
So good.
and stuff like that. And it's
So good.
it's a great movie.
So
Just
good, yeah.
Hilarious. How about you, Nico?
I never got into cartoons like that. I mean, I like cartoons. I mean, if I'm going to pick one, April O'Neil. If I'm going to pick one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dude,
the red hair,
smoking.
smoking, like
Curves.
the yellow, the curves. If I'm going to pick a cartoon, that's where I'm going.
That's great.
But I have a question. Why did Nickelodeon or Looney Tunes make Lola Bunny attractive? How did they make a bunny attractive?
Are you talking about from the original Space
No, I'm
Jam?
talking about Space Jam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
like that scene where I don't know how they did it.
I'm gonna tell
When
you
she tries out for the Toon Squad, like how do you make an animal,
Yeah,
a
dude.
girl animal, look good?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
tell you
Bugs
how
Bunny
that's
is
odd.
they started that in the actual Looney Tunes cartoons. Like
That's what I'm saying, like,
Bugs
how-
Bunny would put on the lipstick. Things were so different back then. Bugs Bunny would put on the lipstick and convince Elmer Fudd. You know what I'm saying? Like and be like,
that says so
ba-boom.
much.
Yeah,
and would put the ears down and make it look like hair. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And Elmer Fudd would be like, and it's a rabbit.
That's
you
what
know?
I'm saying. Like how? But
Damn it.
I don't. But when you said Jessica Rabbit, immediately I was like, well, Lola Bunny.
Yeah.
But how? But if I'm not into bestiality, so I'm just gonna go with April O'Neil.
Circle back.
I'm gonna circle back.
April O'Neil.
April O'Neil.
Forget the last 3 minutes.
She can
of a
speak into my
conversation.
microphone anytime.
Oh, let's go. I like that.
Wow.
I had to go with it.
I do like it.
Dude, April O'Neil, like, I think, and what you're kind of keying in on with Lola Rabbit and April O'Neil is like, there's something voluptuous about those,
Like the
they
curves and
they make cartoon characters almost a parody of like what stereotypical guys
Yes.
want.
They make it perfect.
Yes.
Right?
Which is so
36, 24, 36.
Yeah.
I
Only
mean,
if she's
baby
5'3".
did get back.
Only if she's 5'3".
Yeah.
But
we all knew where you're going.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think they there's almost like a cookie cutter pattern to that, where they're like, hey, we have, and that interestingly enough, that might go into like the psychology of kids. Like, think about some of the ways we think about things and think about women or whatever. How much of that was like formed in us through the stuff we were fed, even in our cartoons?
Yeah.
Like, even you take, so here's another vixen, so to speak. You take Chitara from the Thundercats, and she was wearing like a one piece that like slit all the way down. Like she was in a
How many cartoons did you watch?
Jane Fonda video. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like an 80, like the 80s, and they just didn't hold back on that stuff. They're like, whatever. It's almost like a different mode of thinking. Even, and those of you viewers out there don't know this, I'm a super nerd, so I got busting out some nerddom. You take Elita 1, which is like one of the foundational female Transformers, and she's a freaking robot, and they give her like curvaceousness to her. RC, who's a motorcycle, even just the psychology of like, the first female Transformer was not a giant truck. It wasn't a tank.
Did you get into the Jetson robot?
It was a curvaceous, thin. Well, you know, she could dust my house, but you know, but it's a curvaceous, fast, high energy motorcycle. Like there's psychology to that.
There is, and they pulled it off.
Yeah, I mean, even look at like, you go through all the the Avenger movies, and like every chick in those movies is hot. Every one of them.
Yeah,
you're right. Even
they're all based off of comics.
So are most of the guys, not all, but I mean, like, generally perceived as attractive because they want you to watch them. They want you to want to watch.
I mean, look at Groot.
Yeah,
stud,
literally,
stud.
Look at those limbs.
Ripped
Stud.
He's made of wood. You guys made of wood. Stud.
I caught it. Yeah,
I got it.
It's all right. I didn't get I didn't get a good reaction on that. I thought it'd be better, but that's fine.
Well, I didn't want to cut off Eric. He was like,
sorry.
No.
He was on a roll.
Sorry.
Yeah, dude.
So you talk about like subliminal messaging. So my mind went to Saved by the Bell. I'm sorry, Kelly Kapowski. I mean, what kid didn't think she was hot?
Yeah.
And she's still hot. She's like, she just turned 50.
Yeah,
she
looking
looks good, dude.
You know what's crazy is like, you think about shows like that from when we were kids, and almost like the framing of like what hot was. You going into psychology again. Kelly Kapowski was a cheerleader.
Yes.
You know, going after the hunky bad boy.
It was either the preppy or the athlete or Slater.
The athlete. You know, and you're setting these tables, and these are things that were set for us as kids. Things that are going into our head. And I'm sure that it was set in the 60s and the 70s and the 50s. Like, past generation stuff had that stuff set up for them as well. But you like, how do you compete with Kelly Kapowski? Is that one of your like teenage crushes from like live action kid shows?
There are two, and I don't want to steal somebody else's, so I'll leave the door open.
No. Steal them.
The Pink Ranger. I don't know her real name. But
that's her name, I think.
Kimberly is
the actress, but
or the
Kimberly.
If I met her in real life, the Pink Ranger,
Pink Kimberly Ranger.
Yeah, I don't know her name, her actual name, but yes,
Amy something. Amy
Jo Johnson.
Amy Jo Johnson.
Yes,
damn,
good teamwork.
Sometimes you just need the.
I was gonna say shawarma,
and
I don't know why. Like, first word that came in my head was shawarma.
Yeah.
Amy shawarma.
But yeah, now that the whole intro went into my, thank you for the assist on that one.
There's something
That was like your
Yes.
first, like you would say, like your
I
first.
would say
teen,
she was my first
teen crush.
Yeah, teen crush. It was definitely her. Power Rangers, but I mean Kelly Kapowski. I just kind of transitioned.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I like,
but definitely Power Rangers was
Yeah.
the first one.
I would say, yeah, I would say Power Rangers probably came out before Saved by the Bell. No,
The Saved by the Bell was way older.
Saved by the Bell was like
yeah,
actually
like
end of
80s.
the 80s into
Damn.
early 90s.
Yeah, but she didn't come in until like the high school years, which was early 90s. So
Correct. 'Cause
around
they
the
did-
same time
They
ish.
did
Okay.
like a season or two of middle school.
Yes.
And Belding was maybe a little bit of a character, but it was more about the blonde female teacher.
Yeah,
It was
what was
like
her name?
their
Miss
kinda
Bliss.
Miss Bliss.
Miss
was
yeah,
kinda
you
Bliss.
guys are good.
their mentor
I'm
character.
not-
mentor character.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with
And she
names.
was good looking for an older woman
Screech
too.
Screech was in it.
Mhm.
Zach was in it.
R.I.P.
And
Lisa.
Lisa came in at the end.
Yeah.
And all the other characters were different. And they brought in Jesse and Kelly and Slater because they tested better. And this is stuff we didn't even know about as kids, that they had like test audiences. They brought a bunch of like prepubescent 12-year-olds and were like, do you like these girls? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
we do.
I saw Joe's
know.
eyes right now, and his eyes went to the nerd. Go ahead, say it. The smart one. I feel like
No, I was
Oh,
going to
I
comment.
thought you got
on-
excited about Jesse right there.
I did.
Because, yeah, that's what I'm saying. She was the smart one
Comment.
on the show.
Well, yeah, I
You
mean,
know what
you
you're
know,
gonna-
I
I
mean,
know what you're gonna
And
say.
Yeah.
this was
We
later in
know
life.
what
She
you're
was
gonna
not.
say.
That was not teen. That was more.
yeah, adult.
That was adult.
It was definitely one of those first movies I think I watched like with friends where we're like, we're gonna watch this for a specific reason.
Without the squiggle lines.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely Showgirls. I mean, the pool scene.
But did
I gotta be
Aggressive.
honest,
I think she
never
looks-
seen it.
No.
Never seen
we
it.
just?
I mean, you're not missing.
You're not. It's not a.
It's
great
not a good movie
It's not
by
a great movie.
any means.
I've
but-
heard it's like Razzie, like negative trash movie. No, like
Yeah,
not only
it's
is
not-
the movie
it's not-
trash,
it's not
just
great.
Bad.
It's
No.
not good.
But
But when you're 14, it's phenomenal.
but I think she actually looks better in Any Given Sunday, and she does a very similar role.
She looks pretty good now too.
Yeah, she's very good looking.
Yeah.
And that's something like when she was in the show, she wasn't the hot one,
Right.
but like later in life, you're like, I think she's a more attractive.
But I
one.
think that was like the shocker when she did
Yeah.
Showgirls,
Yeah.
right? That it was like she wasn't the hot one,
Yeah.
because of what's her face, Kelly Kapowski. She turned into.
Wasn't
She
her
got
name-
her own Kapowski. I can tell you that.
But then again,
Oh.
how much did it,
I don't even know what a Kapowski is.
at
But
this,
she got him in that
at
movie.
this-
I heard you
at
hitting
this point,
the bar right there, dude.
at this point, producer John's gonna put kapow, like
Kapow!
So he's
like
gonna
the
mix.
Batman.
He's
like,
gonna mix your
Flash.
cartoons into Kelly Kapowski with the
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
Power Rangers
Got
in
it.
there.
You got it.
You know,
You're gonna have a busy week, bro.
it's funny. Like for when we talk about like first crushes, it's gonna be strange. So, not as a
You
teen.
like strange.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm giggling because I'm excited for
Yeah,
this.
definitely not as a teen. Doesn't pop in as my first crush. I hit him young. I was ready. Mine was
Not in the swig, dude.
Yeah. Sorry. So my first crush was Dolly Parton.
I was not expecting that,
Yeah.
but I can see why.
Yeah. So
Now I know
um,
why a certain someone did a project.
yes,
on Dolly
yeah.
Parton.
So my little one did a project on a famous person, and she picked Dolly Parton. No coincidence there. Just happened.
Influence?
No, zero.
I don't know, dude.
Zero influence on that. But we're going through and like I'm like, hey, let's read this book together.
It has nothing to do with. It has
I'm
nothing to
reading
do
the
with the
book.
posters in your garage.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton.
Yeah, Dolly Parton.
So-
But what's funny is, so my wife put a picture like on the project. You had to put a picture on the front of the bag of the person that you were doing the project on, and she picks this risque picture of Dolly Parton, and I'm like, I get it now. I know. Now I know why I had a crush on her when I was 5.
So
and you
funny.
cannot use
Oh
that
my
picture.
God.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah. That picture's now in my it's in my drawer.
Can you
But-
get a church picture instead?
Yeah, so that would be my first.
Which is
my first
ironic because
crush.
Dolly Parton, as an individual, is a very wholesome,
She is.
loving,
She is
kind
very much so.
individual. Like,
Yeah,
That's why I knew that option was there.
I learned a lot about her in that book, actually, like how generous she is, the whole book thing that she does, and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean,
So
that's
you
what it
actually
was.
did read it.
I did. Me and Ava read it together, and we crushed it.
I like it. I like it.
Good for you.
What do you
Your
think?
turn, sir.
What do you got?
Okay, so early childhood, and well, not early childhood. This is like teenage years. I'm starting to think about like I saw the Kelly thing, but I don't know why it just never like clung to me. The first thing that really hit me hard was Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I can see that.
Yep.
And there's
Makes sense.
something in the deep dark recesses or just the very forefront of every guy's mind where they're like, you know what? I think I'll let you beat me up a little bit. You know, I think I'll let you slap me around and stuff, and we'll just see how it turns out.
This is a judge-free zone, right?
It's a judge-free zone.
Yeah.
There's something, but, and I think this kind of gets to the more modern feminine aesthetic. I don't think real men, I'll say that. I don't think real men are intimidated whatsoever by a badass woman. Like,
No,
I think we want to see, nobody, like, hey, my wife plays with swords. I don't think any guy would be like, man, put those swords down. We'd be like, okay, that's awesome. Like, that we have no problem when Buffy the Vampire she's protecting herself and she's stabbing these vampires in the chest and they're exploding to dust and all these things. And yet she is feminine and she is believing in herself and she's attractive and she builds up other women, but she doesn't degrade men. Like, it's just cool. Nobody has any problem with somebody like Buffy the Vampire Slayer crushing it. Somebody that a guy could be like, we can just go crush this together.
I have a movie scene for you that comes in my mind. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. That scene where they're beating the shit out of each other in the house, and then all of a sudden they turn around and just start going at it. Mm-hmm. That whole scene showing that woman that's very strong, that's not scared to whoop his ass, and it was very, I mean, it's comical too.
Yeah.
But something about him, just like, she can whoop my ass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you put two good-looking people like that getting the crap out of one another.
I mean, I love that movie.
Yeah.
And that they just rebooted it into like a series or something. I haven't jumped into that yet, but that movie's great.
Yeah. And it's got Donald Glover, actually.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Donnie Glove, dude.
And this is a little bit of a spoiler. You know, we have some eps coming up where we got some top 10 lists coming up.
And I didn't jump into that Buffy thing because of it.
And I'm gonna tell you, that is a thoroughfare in many of what would be in my selections.
Nice.
It's like, I'm not gonna cower in fear because a woman can crush it.
Yeah.
And I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer was April O'Neil, you know, an X-Men like Rogue beating the trash out of Sentinels. I think there was something always in me that, like, there's something magnetic about that. And I wasn't afraid.
I'm pretty sure my wife at some point in my lifetime may have given me a right hook. And when she did it, I was kind of proud of her.
Yeah.
Because I deserved it.
You were like,
I was like, I'm like, you got a left.
Let's take this to the next location.
That fire in her eyes. I was like, yes, Mrs. Smith.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
Hit me with another.
Yep.
You know, speaking of women,
which we always do.
I know. So I was thinking about this on my. Can you grab me one of these, please?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this on my. I was actually going to put it on IG on my way here. You know what really pisses me off? Women comedians.
What?
Do you know why? Well, let me dive into why.
I think you and I are a lot alike when it comes to this, and I think we get irked about the same shit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it's a two pieces. First one, I feel like female comedians try too hard. And I think when they try too hard, it goes into my next pet peeve of female comedians is every single joke is about sex. And it pisses me off to the full extent. Thanks. You can be hilarious and not talk about it. I would say majority of male comedians rarely talk about it. If they do, it's
it's almost like a punchline.
Yeah, it's like a quick little jab, not like a full piece combo that like women throw when they're comedians. And not every female comedian does this, but
let's not stereotype entirely.
Yeah.
But I get the vibe.
The majority of women, women comedians have to spend a significant amount of time about sex when doing their doing their set. And it pisses me off. I just don't like it. Like,
and are you talking about them like going at guys about it, or just talking about it as a themed topic?
Yeah, just in general. It's not even about them like making fun of guys for like lasting 2 minutes or whatever that situation is. It's almost derogatory at themselves that makes me more mad. And you would think as a guy, like a stereotypical guy, that'd be like, oh yeah, all about that because whatever. I'm a dude. I'm a pervert and whatever. But it does the exact opposite. It literally like makes you want to stop watching and not listen to anything that person says. And I'm telling you, if anyone actually listens to this, comment on the Spotify a female comedian that does not talk about it in their stand-up. I'll expect 0 comments because there aren't any.
At all?
I'm
At all?
Well,
Or-
I'm going through the Rolodex right now, and I don't think I could think of many where they go through an entire what do they call it, set if you will, where they don't mention it or harp on it for an extended period of time.
Right.
I would have
I'm
to,
having a
I would
hard
have to
time.
think about.
I know, I have to
haven't
really
watched
dive
a lot
into
of
it.
comedy specials recently, so I'd have to like.
Yeah, I would.
And
I would have to do some actual research
and
to
it's not
really
even like-
agree. But I see where you're going.
Yeah,
with
it's
it.
not even like just like it. It's the word I'm looking for, like the level of what they're talking about, like the specific detail. I'm like, that's kind of a lot right now. I'm like,
One thing I will
I
add
don't
to
know.
that is the cattiness amongst somebody in the same genre of field as their own. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys talk trash, they move on, whatever. Like there's always that ongoing joke where when guys they get in a fight, the next day they become best friends. That's just how guys are.
right.
But if a female cracks a joke at somebody in 1992, it's 2024, and all of a sudden, no, I remember that one time.
It's here.
Yeah, that one time that you said that I had a bad pinky toe and it looked like a bunion, and now I'm upset. Like shit like that.
Living on a bunion
That's what I'm.
for like 12 years.
That,
But you're
that's what
right,
I'm saying.
though.
Like
It's-
it'll be like the smallest thing. I can't believe you said that my toenails weren't painted one time. And I'm not trying to be like, that guy, but I guess that's what I'm getting is that guys can get over it. I'll be like, bro, I'll buy you a beer. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But if you take
Owning
a jet, we could.
I've made so many mistakes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
try to own it as quick
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah.
sure.
And I just feel like there's a cattiness sensation that if females wrong each other at some point, it cuts deep to the core. And I think that plays into the comedy.
That feels like a 2-hour podcast episode,
Yeah,
to be
and-
honest
yeah,
with you, because
it
I think
does.
we've all experienced
I think
that
so,
in
too.
our local.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So-
And we live in a small town, so we hear about a lot.
Yeah.
Because we do have wives that are prominent in the community.
Invested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Invest. Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Invest
I mean, let's be real. Any one of us can go through town and everybody knows our wives, or vice versa. Our wives can go through town and they know us.
Yeah.
Everybody
go
just knows
hide?
everybody.
I probably shouldn't
you
be in a
can't-
podcast.
it's-
Yeah,
about
we
go
probably
hide.
shouldn't.
No, it's really a great point.
I'm
So-
going to change my name.
Yeah, before we get on to our next piece here, that kind of reminds me of something. So I went and helped out in my daughter's Valentine's Day class thing.
I heard about that.
Yeah, party. Thank you. Jeez, couldn't spit that out. So we're getting close to the end of the party, and I'm just standing there talking to some other adults, and this little kid comes up to me. He's like, "Hey," Mike, "what's up, man?" He's like, "Hey, are you the guy with the full gym in your garage?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You have a beard?" I'm like, "Yep."
Still do.
He's like, "You have a mustache too." I'm like, "Yeah, buddy, I got it all." And it's 100%. He knows that because him and his mom came to this house at some point when that garage was open because they were buying stuff for my wife.
I'll add to that. There have been times where I have been coaching and somebody has said, Taco. Do you think he could train our team? I've heard that.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you might want to be a little bit older. But I have heard that, hey, what if he gets our team in there for like some circuits? Well, we would have to make sure that's not team sanctioned. But it's one of those things where, yeah I know.
Small town
Everybody
vibes.
knows who knows
Yep.
everybody.
It's kind of interesting because I remember living in the city for a long time. And when I was living in kind of a very localized area of the city, I was living in Lakeview, which is a neighborhood right next to Wrigleyville for all those Chicago people out there. And there was something about it where I kind of talking about something from the past. And ironically, this was not one of my crushes, but I guess you'd call it like a semi-crush. I liked to rock the NBC shows. I did have at least a semi-crush on Helen Hunt from Mad About You.
Yeah.
She's hot and Twister.
And
Yeah, she's got
super.
she's like a 5 head now. Go on. Sorry.
And
I have no hair, so that
Yeah.
I can't really
and
talk.
Yeah,
at
it's good
least super young me knew that when Christy Alley joined Cheers, which I'm going to reference here in a second, I was like, oh, that new one's hotter. No disrespect, Shelley Long. but like there was something in my
Tag.
young brain
So like the
that was
older,
like-
like an older woman, like
that was like,
yeah.
that was like, oh, dude, Christy Alley. Well, I didn't know her I didn't know her name at that
She
point. in time.
died, right?
yeah, a few years ago. I
Yeah,
think she was like
yeah.
51 or
Yeah,
something. She
R.I.P.
wasn't very old.
Super.
Damn it.
Super. If I'm correct, super Scientologist.
Really?
Super. I could be
Leah
wrong.
Remini.
Don't quote
Whoa.
me on that.
That's
I would not want to shame
another
the
segment.
dead. That's another segment.
Can't
But-
wait for that one.
But
How do you spell Scientology? I'm kidding.
I think
R-E-S-P.
I think it's TOMCR Tom Cruise. That's how
I was like, where are we going with this,
David
dude?
Miscavige.
yeah.
But I remember living in the city, living in Lakeview, being a young 20-something and being like, man, I would love to have a bar where everyone knows my name.
We do.
And-
We do. We have two of them.
It's called Our Town.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But like there was something
next to the other bar where everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
there was something cool and endearing about that where
Yeah.
it's like, wow, we all as humans have a desire to be known. And then you get really known and you're like, I have a desire to go away.
Yeah. To not be known.
To hide.
Yeah.
I am
And
moving.
it's that delicate balance because I think people want to be known on a deep and real level, the way the three of us, the four of us know each other. Hopefully the way that you guys get to know us through sharing our lives with you on the pod. But there's also this level of like secrecy and things that you want held back. You guys know I'm a big Josh Allen fan and I'm a big Haley Steinfeld fan, and they're just they're one of these rockin' couples. Yeah, not with the publicity of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but they were just in Mexico. And
That's where they all go after they lose in the playoffs.
Mexico.
Cancun.
Yeah.
But they were down
They're
there,
all hanging out.
and Josh Allen was in an interview talking about how somebody on some boat way off in the ocean was taking pictures of the two of them together, and he knew that was up. And so it's like you get to this place where you're known, and then you just keep being known,
Right. Until
And-
you're never unknown.
and you don't want to be not known, but I don't think you want to be known like that level of known where people are like stalking into your life. So it's this delicate balance of like, how do you exist in a society like this? How do you have people not creeping on every day of your life? And how do you have people like, wow, oh, you're the guy with the gym and you guys do this, and that. And it's not like, you're the guy with the gym.
Right. Yeah.
Can
I
I
know
train
someone
with
famous.
you? Can I
I
train
know
with you in 10 minutes? I'll be there.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not get that?
Yeah, I think like when you're in the small town, like little kids saying that, and I think it kind of goes for like anything with our level of people knowing us. It's kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's
fun.
cool.
We're
like,
not
fun.
at the bad level. We're
yeah,
not at
yeah.
the bad level.
We're at
But
the fun
imagine-
level.
But when you get there, like I think like the wife and I were chatting about some of these a segment that we have planned, and that question kind of came up, and it like took her a minute to ponder on what would she rather be or do. And it kind of goes back to that. Like, would you want to be so famous that no matter where you go, anywhere you step, that you have paparazzi, you've got TMZ up your ass? Like, would you want to be that famous, or would you rather be a person? Maybe let's see. How about this? I'm going to hit you with a would you rather. Would you rather be famous?
Auto fire.
Yeah.
Here
Yeah.
we go.
Pew,
Boom, boom,
pew.
boom.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew.
So would you rather be super famous to the point where everyone knows you, or would you rather be married to a famous person that no one knows who you are?
Mine comes with a caveat. I would want if I'm famous, I want to be famous for doing something good, not for being an asshole, not for being a jerk with people. Because no matter where you go, people are going to like you, people are going to hate you. That's just life. I mean, no matter what level you're at. I think if the general consensus was I did well for people and I helped people and people knew me for doing good deeds, make me super famous.
Okay.
But
I
if
like
I'm
it.
super famous for being a complete doucher, no thanks. I'd rather just be I'd rather be just the guy at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to do
I'm
I don't want to do
taking
wrong
it.
in this world.
I'm taking it on my list.
I think I would agree. I would
Joe
want
and his
to. I want to.
notes.
I would
got
want to
notes.
be famous for something that is
My reading
consequential and beneficial
Yes.
to greater society.
Yes.
Like because they're I don't money comes and goes. A lot of stuff comes and goes, but what matters is the impact you make on people. So
Mhm.
this is a nifty little segue we have here. We have a new segment here. Auto fire.
Pew, pew.
And yeah, that sound effects included. And we're going to bust out some questions. They're in the vein of Would You Rathers. And Joe is going to hit. Who are you going to hit today?
Ooh, I don't know.
And just so we
He
know,
busts
Joe is
out
the
these
only one.
questions.
Joe is the only one that knows these.
Yeah.
Eric and I don't know
We
these.
have
These are my
not
notes.
seen this list.
So we might sweat a little bit. I sweat bad.
So I have
he
I have
wrote
5.
them down on paper.
Yeah, these are my notes.
He
This
has,
is some-
he has notes
this
on
is-
every episode.
This is intense.
Yeah, I have
none of us.
No.
It's definitely a downfall of mine.
This has notes of flavor in my
Yeah.
whiskey.
So what should we do? Should we do? You guys want to split the questions, or you got
Let's
want me to hit one person?
Just go with whatever you
pummel
think.
one guy, and then
We're gonna
the other
alternate.
person.
Why you gotta say it like that?
We're,
dude?
whoa, we're gonna alternate. All right, ready?
Hey,
This
Hey,
is
cool
quick.
down on the pummeling.
This is quick. We
we're
can't.
gonna alternate. You
So,
shoot them at
you know,
who you want.
you just fire.
You're
Whoever
the
that first question
questioner.
is, yeah, whoever that first question is for, just shoot
Okay.
him at somebody.
All right. We're gonna go with Nico.
I meant Eric.
We're going with Nico. Would you would you rather know how you're gonna die, or know when you're gonna die?
How?
Oh, I like it. Eric, would you rather be able to change the past or see the future?
Change the past.
We have to come back to that. I have
that-
caveats.
I can agree with that.
Nico, would you rather lose your legs or lose your arms?
Does it have? It has to be both
Both.
arms.
Ooh. Oh, I'm coming back to that one because
I like it.
I don't even think it's close.
This is to Eric, and this is referencing back to a couple episodes ago, I think, when we were talking about going tubing. Would you rather have BO and not know it, or always smell BO on everyone else?
Ooh.
That's like the common sense thing. Would you rather not have it or have it? Damn it! I should have held on to that one.
In my current state,
Yeah,
oh, I'll have the BO. I'm
You'll-
married.
fair. Fair enough.
Well, I'm not going. I don't care what anybody else thinks.
Okay, that's fair. That's
And if
fair.
she
Good luck
smells
with your
it,
extracurriculars.
Sucks for her. She
This
married
is-
me.
Yeah, this is your full auto question, so you can
Hey.
answer how the hell you want. All right, and last but certainly not least, Nico. Would you rather accidentally send a nude to your kid or to your boss?
My boss.
Oh,
My boss.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that's not fair.
Damn
my
it.
boss. Because my boss would laugh.
I'm asking Eric. Same question. Same question.
You're in a different profession,
Yeah.
so that's tough.
Yeah.
Kid.
Fair.
I have to go kid
Fair.
because
but-
I'd be ruined.
Well,
Yeah.
and here's the thing too. At least
he would not be ruined. I would be ruined.
yeah, exactly. And there would be the off chance that he could send it to a male, a son. I have daughters,
That's a good point.
so
I
that,
am
that
the,
plays
I'm
into
the
it
only
too.
one on this panel that has sons.
That's a great
Yeah.
point.
I could send it to one of my sons. He wouldn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
He'd be like Ninja Turtles. Does that thing have a shell?
Daddy, Splinter looks different.
Is that turtle
Is that-
scared?
Is that Crane?
Are there blades on the outside of it? It's the Shredder.
It's the Foot Clan.
Oh my
Man,
Oh man.
full auto fire.
Full auto.
I love it. Full auto fire. Pew, 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 pew. Okay.
Oh my
Are we?
gosh.
Are we? You know what?
We put my
Let-
notes
let's-
away for next time.
I love it. I love it. No, let's keep
I like
those
how
up.
you flipped.
keep my
You
notes.
flipped with
We're-
authority.
I got more. I got more.
Dude, the full auto fire questions. We love them. We're going to be doing this segment periodically. We're going to take a quick break just for a few. We're probably going to order some pizza,
Yeah.
come back here and hang out with you guys in a few. Thanks for joining us on the Moretako and Connor. We'll be right back.